Rolling Stone's Happy. Good afternoon, everybody.
Man, I hadn't heard that one in a while. That's fabulous.
You haven't heard Happy?
In a while. Yeah, it's been a long, long time. I played It's Only Rock and Roll not too long ago.
But I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yes, I do.
The horns, man. The Stones and horns.
I love the Stones with the horns. That's for sure, Vic Henley. Thanks for coming back today, man.
Hey, thanks for asking, dude.
No worries. We just did this.
Yes, we did. It seems like it.
We can't even enjoy, the feedback on yesterday's show is really good. So, you would like to sit back and maybe enjoy one good one. But it's like, no, do it again.
Right. Taskmaster.
And again and again. Which is a little different than stand-up. When you're out on the road, you get a couple in, and then you get 3 or 4 days to kind of just relish in.
Oh, hell yeah.
In your greatness.
Absolutely. No, that's what you try to do to keep from killing yourself in the hotel room. You're just laying there flip-flopping on that topic. Yeah. When I'm bored, I'm lonely, this is shitty. Yeah. Oh, but they fucking loved me last night.
Yes,
that was pretty good.
Did.
That was not bad.
It's the one thing I've always hated about radio. You just got to go back in and do it again.
Sure.
And then do it again. And then do it again.
Well,
And then as soon as you have that bad show, there it is. It's over.
I always wondered how the late night guys did it. The radio seems to be a little easier, maybe, but even though it's longer, 3 or 4 hours, every day. But the late night guys, I don't know. It's a lot more erratic, maybe. I think it would be harder to be. It's easier to be consistent with this, I think.
I look at the late night guys
and
go, it's an hour.
Yeah, they got it made.
Are you kidding me? I just think of the time. That's all.
Okay, sure.
Of course, it's its own problem and it's its own stress and all that. I get that, but when you just look at it, you're like, well, you're on TV for 1 hour a night. Well, how hard can that be?
When they get it down, they get it down. Like True. Johnny Carson, literally, it seemed like he rolled up 5 minutes ahead of time, got out of his car, walked in there and did it, and then got back in the car and drove on home. But
Jay Leno was the same
also,
way.
Yeah, very, very similar. I know.
We were lucky enough to do Jay Leno one time, and he's just in our green room like minutes before the show's starting, and he wants to know about the gossip with Howard Stern and all this shit. Yeah. And he's a radio guy. He loves radio. And I'm looking at him. I actually said, Jay, isn't the show starting in a couple minutes? He goes, yeah, don't worry about that. I got that.
He was that way when he was in here with us a few months ago. He's just, I'm a guy.
Yeah.
Letterman, you would never see. If you asked any guest over the 30 years of Letterman how many times he was in the green room, it's got to be less than 5.
Extremely rare.
Yeah, you never saw him. He didn't do the glad hand.
No, I mean, and we were lucky to do Letterman too, and very different, yes.
Completely.
Jay Leno was very, very much personable.
Right. I've been on both as a comedian, and the same thing. Right. Yeah. I'm in a lonely little room all by myself upstairs in the Ed Sullivan Theater at Letterman.
Right.
Nothing.
In those creaky green rooms?
Yes, exactly.
Looking at the filth of New York out your window? It's just a shitty side road.
I know. And Whoopi Goldberg was on the show, and I'm like, there is no way she was sitting up here in this. Right. I don't think. There must be a good one somewhere. You've just put the comedian in the comedian crow's nest.
You'd like to think
green room somewhere.
But it's just an old radiator, I remember.
Yep. Totally.
Windowsills that didn't really close properly, so I'm sure in the winter, you get the cold air whistling in, and then you look down, it's just garbage trucks, and it's a side road.
I know, I remember.
You remember?
I totally.
I was like, wow, this is the big time.
Yes, I've made it.
Right. This is amazing.
I've made it. Absolutely.
And then everyone's just fighting for the one bathroom down the tiny little hallway, and it's a shitty bathroom.
Yeah, and I was on with a band, and that's the same thing that kept happening to me. I was on with this band, and every time there was like 6 of them in the band, maybe, and they were hogging the bathroom the whole time. And I'm like, dude, I got to pee. Just let me pee.
Let me do my thing.
I'm on before you are. Let me pee.
Yeah.
And they're like, I forgot. They were not good.
I hear you.
They were not a good band. I was trying to think of who it was.
Stunt Brain is here. Wait him in, or what a weird text that is from Paul. Stunt Brain here. Wait him in or put in office. I know. I'm just fucking. Yeah. No.
Wave him in. Is that what it? Wave him in.
Bring him in, maybe.
Something.
No. Me and Vic got this for a little while. Then Theo is somewhere. He's. I think he's doing an audition through Skype.
Oh, cool.
One of those Skype auditions.
I've heard of that. That's a new thing.
And then we got Mike Bichetti, and then we got Stunt Brain. He'll come in and do a little bit with us, and then I I don't know. And then we got X-Pac down the hall. He's just hanging out. Maybe we'll drag him in today.
Hey, I got handed a tri-tip sandwich upon walking in here. It was absolutely delicious.
Now I know how to make you happy.
I know. I'm like just sitting here trying not to burp and I'm worried about all the meat in my teeth. But God bless Roland.
You went from just normal Vic to over-the-top happy Vic.
Yes, I did. I did.
That sandwich.
I had the soup and salad last night, light dinner. So a big honking good beef sandwich is what I needed. It's like Roland read my mind somehow. He knew the inner fat kid in me needed something.
Well, Roland,
he's got a thing for the food. He knows.
He's got a thing for the food, and he takes care of everybody around him. So
that was good stuff.
Roland's a good boy when it comes to that thing.
No, that's hands down the greatest one. Usually it's just like a sandwich, but this was like a fucking sandwich. This was like, if you were a watcher of Friends, the Joey character was always getting a good sandwich.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was one of those.
What's up, Theo? You sit wherever the fuck you want. How about you take number 5 today? That's number 5.
It is?
Yeah, then we're all spread out nice.
This is
we're in a triangle formation. I like the triangle. When
Vic, you know what a triangle is? He's from Tennessee. Do you know what a triangle is?
I know what Alabama. I know what a triangle is. What kind of isosceles?
Yeah, it's like
what kind of triangle you want?
It's like a square guy, kind of lazy,
Yeah, what
it's
triangle
like a
do you want?
Taking a nap.
Sorry.
Yeah. What kind of triangle is this? It's a little... It's not equal on all 3 sides. So
the Bermuda Triangle.
There you
Bermuda
go.
Triangle. How was your audition, Theo?
It was okay, man. I was talking to this lady. They're talking about gender inequalities and things that women do nowadays that men can't do. And
like what? What can women do that men can't besides give birth? And
I can't think of a thing. That was the thing. I had to lie to this lady.
Oh, they were asking you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like a trick question.
Yeah, and they're like, no, it was not. They wanted to know, and I was.
What answer did you give them?
I told them a couple things. I said, well, I don't want to see women picking their noses. I don't think that they shouldn't be able to, but
You don't want to see it.
Yeah, I don't want to see it, dude. I don't want to see it. And I'm sorry, I've been hiding and keeping it inside of myself, but I don't want to see it anymore. My grandmother died with I'm sure, honestly, a nose full of boogers. I bet she had to breathe through her mouth for probably 40 years.
Your grandmother?
Yeah, but she never picked her nose, I bet.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Would your grandfather know? He would know.
Yeah, I just never saw her do it.
She probably blew it out, though.
Yeah.
Did
That's
some
fair.
nice snot rockets in the bathroom.
Little lady hanky kind of thing going?
If she woke up at midnight or 2 a.m. and went out in the yard and blew it out, that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I got
to give him credit once again. Way back when I was 17 years old, I played basketball, and Bill Madden, who was on the basketball team,
all right.
I lost touch with him years ago. He introduced me to the snot rocket, and my life has never been the same.
What do you mean, closing one nostril
I
off?
never saw it before. He was running up the basketball court,
and
he turned toward the sideline and blew a snot rocket. I'm like, that is genius.
Yeah. Revelation Day.
And to this day, I remember that moment.
Sure.
It's one of those things you'll just never forget.
Right. You don't know where you were on 9/11.
My boy, when Bill Madden. I sort of remember the birth of my second kid, sort of.
Sort of.
But I do remember when Bill Madden introduced me to the snot rocket.
That's good.
I wonder what I remember. That's funny, the things
weird
that you
things like that.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody a possum fact yesterday that my brothers captured a possum, and one kid in the neighborhood said the only thing he knew about possums was that his older brother had told him that you could shoot him in the head with a .22 rifle, and the possum would still run for about 400 or 500 yards.
Wow!
You could put the gun right to his head, put the bullet in his head, and he would run. So we did this.
Is it true?
Yes, it totally happened. We lost him. He ran away from us before he got away from us, and so with a bullet in his head,
you shot a possum in the head?
I didn't do it. My middle brother Mike did when he was 15.
Somebody took the challenge.
Yes, we took the challenge. There was like 9 of us in the neighborhood. We shot the possum in the head, and then as it ran towards the woods to get away from us, we all 8 or 9 of us ran right along behind it.
Right.
The possum
along behind it.
Because we wanted to see how far it's going to go. Well, that's just hillbilly idiot fun. There's nothing to do in the neighborhood.
Wow.
I believe the possum thing, though, because...
What's going on? Didn't you have a sister?
No.
Come on.
And my mom was at work. We were unsupervised. My older brother, who was like 17, he was in charge of us, so I was like 5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you can do whatever
12.
the hell you want. But I believe the possum thing because when I was living out on Long Island, I rode over a possum, and it was one of those, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that thing is so dead. And I looked through my rear view mirror, and sure enough, that thing kept walking to the side of the road. I'm like, I just ran that thing over, and it's still alive.
Oh yeah, we need more. I guess we need some.
There's Russian
what the hell
possums.
is that about?
We need to get them in the military.
Armadillos. They used to call them Russian possums.
Yeah,
because
they're armored.
they were ready. They were ready for war, dude.
They
had a lady allegedly had breastfed one by us. This black lady.
Really?
Yeah,
that was the rumor on her.
Well, you think it would be a white woman. When I first heard the rumor, I was like, yeah.
Naturally.
That's a white lady.
She breastfed an armadillo?
Right.
She breastfed an armadillo that had been sick.
Oh, good for her.
Pretty beautiful, really. It's almost like a little grapes of wrath for our neighborhood.
That is a wonderful story. You need a good story from your upbringing because most of them are horrific, man. With the playing kickball with the pedophiles and the wood shirt and everything else.
Beautiful kid, that kid.
I just like the fact that you had a possum. I had a possum story. You had a possum story, and he had the Louisiana armadillo.
That Russian possum, dude.
I think armadillo beats possum, though, right? As far as being tough.
I think they're tough. They're working their way north too. I heard. I think they're showing up in states that people weren't used to seeing them. Was my last armadillo fact
like the Underground Railroad?
Yeah, exactly.
For animals. I wonder what animals are enslaved. Like, how much do we know about the animal kingdom? Sometimes I wonder that, dude. Like, are we missing that there's a lot going on out there that we don't even know about?
Have you ever seen Creature Comforts? You know what that is? It won the Oscar, I think, for Best Animated Short. It's the dudes that did the Wallace and Gromit thing.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically backstage at the zoo. Like a reporter's walking around interviewing all the animals, and they're talking about, how none of them, all the benefits are about being free and being in the wild. It's all little jabs about, and like one of them, but they give us food, and it's like the dad smacks him. He's like, that's not good enough. It's a totally cutesy kid thing that adults could like too, but it's called Creature Comforts. It's a short. It's like 9. You should see it. It's hilarious.
I think we've discovered most of the animals, but the oceans, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
They said they have no fucking idea still. A lot of stuff down there.
Have we even seen the giant squid yet, finally? It seems like they were looking for one of those for years.
I don't know.
They were looking for years. There was a whole episode of his show once where the whole show was just like, are we going to find him? And they never did.
Well, they had that one fellow try to get eaten by a snake. You see that guy?
Oh, God. We had him in here.
Oh, I remember that.
What was he like in person?
He was actually really cool. And I feel bad for him because he's a true environmentalist and he really wants to save, what was it, a boa?
Yeah.
And he did it to kind of get everyone talking about the boas and what needs to be done. He's not like a circus performer. Let's just put it that way. He got talked into it because he's really out there studying them and trying to figure out how he could save their environments.
I wouldn't do it.
But that was such a joke, the whole thing.
Yeah, it was cool seeing those huge snakes, but I couldn't let a snake eat me, man.
Did you ever see the hippopotamus guy that he tried to build? He wasn't too successful.
Tried to live inside of one,
but he made one like a decoy one, and he was actually going to go over to Africa and try to work his way down there into the herd of them. Like they're they kill more people in Africa. It's one of those weird facts,
like that Troy story.
Exactly.
Yeah,
the Trojan horse.
Yeah, like the Trojan potamus.
He had the Trojan potamus.
Aren't the hippos one of the most deadly / vicious animals on Earth?
And that's why it was a balls. It was one of those. I'm flipping around watching Discovery or something.
Have you seen some of these videos of the hippos chasing the guys in the boats?
No.
Oh, could you find one of those today? Do we have? Where's Lewis? Lewis, I need your help. Let's go.
He's out at the sandwich buffet.
There's a video of a man doing what is it with hippos?
Yeah. Lewis, you got to find a video of an aggressive hippo chasing like someone in a boat.
Hippos are like the Artie Lang of animals. In a weird way. In a lovely way. I mean, Artie Lang is
not
amazing.
Lethal. I don't think Artie's deadly.
Yeah, no, hippos
battling human, and I love him. But I'm just saying,
hippos are not lovely. You wouldn't describe them as lovely, man.
Here's a hippo.
Let me try to find one. Yeah, this has 3 million views, so this might be a good one. And then I want to go back to Theo, the whole picking the nose, women picking their nose. I don't think I've ever seen a woman pick her nose before.
Yeah, I've seen a lot in traffic and stuff. You guys don't have traffic.
No, really?
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen it either. I'm with you. I've been in traffic. I don't ever.
There's always someone when you turn to your right, and it's always a guy digging nice and deep. But I've never seen a woman. I think that would really freak me out.
Would you rather watch a poor guy pick his nose or a rich guy pick his nose? I notice that sometimes I'm more enraptured by watching
rich people.
Yeah,
because you think they would have a designated nose picker.
I just feel like
somebody in.
There's probably like nicer stuff in their boogers. Is that weird?
Well, yeah, that is a little weird. That's what I think. You think their boogers are a little sugary,
like maybe,
a little bit on the sugary side.
Like I want to see if this freaking CEO pulls a pearl out of his snout. You know,
push play on that, Lewis. We'll talk over because I don't even know if this is a good one, but I want to show these guys how aggressive a hippo can be.
We got to shut down Africa, right? What is anything good going on over there?
Sure.
Every story out of Africa.
The entire continent.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Shut it down.
I'm not sure if this is the one. Good. Fast forward a little bit there, Lois. Let's see what we can find here, because they're in a boat. They're trying to check out this. What do you call a herd of hippos? Is it a herd, a pod, a pod of
whales? Pod of my.
All right, this might be. This hippo's not having it.
Catches up.
He wants to.
It's so bizarre.
They had to speed up, yeah.
Oh, but this thing could swim pretty fast too.
That might not be the female hippos.
Huh?
They got threatened by female hippos, Evan and Luke.
If you find a good one, let us know, because it's pretty crazy when they go after you. What else did you say that women
are not allowed to do?
Yeah. Theo.
What do we talk about? I just said, well, women don't get along. Like women, I feel like guys actually can get along together. I feel like until lesbianism really prospered, I feel like a lot of women have never really loved each other, probably.
You think they're always snippy toward each other?
Yeah.
Like guys are more casual, I think.
That's the profile.
We can just kind of hang. I don't know. Yeah. All right, here's the one I remember.
Fishermen on Lake Kariba in Zimbabwe managed to outrun the hippopotamus,
but
they tend to gallop along the bottom of lakes and rivers.
I think they just came across the wrong hippo. That
we're wasting time. The show is too short to waste time. But yeah, just look it up for yourself if you've never seen the hippo videos. It's pretty crazy when they chase the boats.
I saw a couple hippos one time. I met this man and we did some shows in South Africa. This is probably about 4 years ago. And I saw Brian Adams by the breakfast bar at the hotel. Remember? Everything I do
cuts like a knife.
I do it for you.
Still big. God, still big. Still sells out.
Still sells out. Yeah.
I'm more summer of '69.
I saw him eating yogurt though in the mornings. But
nice.
Well, we met a man at the comedy show who owned a helicopter, and he took us to this other guy's private nature reserve.
You and Brian Adams?
No, not Brian Adams. It's just some other comedians.
Okay.
Mark Curry, remember him hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Sure.
Yeah.
Him, a couple other guys. Mark, a couple of other guys.
Where was this?
It was in Johannesburg, South Africa, right?
Oh, nice.
So we got to stay at the nice place there and everything. It was pretty suave. So I met this guy. He takes us to this other gentleman's private gaming reserve. This dude had in the middle of nowhere, had his own lions and his own. He just had like 40,000 acres, and he just had tons of animals.
He had his own shit.
Yeah, and rich people would come out there and buy out, and they'd move animals out there, and people would shoot them. I guess I didn't see that happen.
I mean, it's been explained to me over the years, but I still hate it. Man.
My brother's done it.
What do you mean?
Terry has come to Africa. He's got like a zebra rug. He's killed all kinds of things in Africa.
Damn.
He's done it.
But did he actually go and hunt them, or was
I don't know. I've never, I've seen the trophy room in his lake house, and it's like you don't want to wander in there when it's dark because it's like something out of Teddy Roosevelt days.
Oh, really?
There's like a grizzly bear. There's all kinds of shit in there.
They got any brothers in there or anything? Because I've heard you can get deep enough into that game where you're shooting people.
It's actual Zimbabweans.
Yeah. Has he heard anything like that?
No, he's not done anything.
Have you
asked him directly?
No, I have not asked him directly.
Have you heard Theo?
I don't think he would.
Or is it?
Oh, I've heard that it gets pretty dark.
No,
man.
seriously.
Dude, if you're wealthy enough, you're not going to. Yeah, you'll kill somebody.
Like that movie, like all those movies,
Why does it have to be wealth that makes you want to kill somebody?
I think, well, you could be poor, but poor people just kill hookers or like hitchhikers. That's easy prey. But I think once you get wealthy, you probably get real people, like maybe maybe they pull somebody out there that works at a bakery or something. Somebody's got like a real job, like somebody, who's actually doing something. You know, maybe you got a guy. We got a teller from the Wells Fargo.
Okay, all right. Now you got me. You get me at banking. I'm on board.
I don't know if it's that far fetched. After learning about Saddam Hussein's torture chamber here in New York City, I think anything's possible.
He had a torture chamber here in New York?
Yeah, in the embassy, in the basement.
79th Street, right off Central Park. It's like a really, really nice area on the Upper East Side.
Wow.
They blacked out the skylight where they couldn't get any footage of any camera, anything going on in the whole place. And they had his own secret police that would take people in there. And you know,
was he addicted to torturing people?
I think it just comes with the job.
Sort of right there at your Dictator 101.
Yeah, I think it just comes with the job if you're Saddam Hussein.
You got to get hopped up on that, though, man.
That's pretty fucked up. This guy wants to ask you a question. I don't want to lose him there, Theo. Lenny in New York, go ahead. We got Theo Vaughn and Vic Henley today.
I saw a show last night with Theo Vaughn. The show's called Acting Out, and you were acting out a story that you were saying about you getting high and eating and ordering 12 dozen glazed donuts and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got high.
I saw it. It was hilarious.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got high, and I think this Latino gentleman gave me a ride, and this Vietnamese lady sold me some donuts, and it was the middle of the night, and just a lot of alarming things going on, but...
What were the alarming things?
All of those things, really.
Yeah, those are pretty
alarming. A couple
alarming.
of raccoons almost attacked me on the way to the donut shop. I got really high, man. Like, I don't think... How old are you, young man who called
He's
in?
out. He's out.
Gone.
His phone was a little crappy.
The stuff these kids are smoking nowadays, it's not anything like we were smoking. I mean, these kids are...
Turbo weed.
And it's beyond. They shouldn't legalize that. They can legalize the weed that we smoked, you know? Stuff might make you feel yourself up a little bit or something.
The weed that was around in like the 70s and 80s.
The brown
dirty
weed.
brown weed with stems and leaves.
I kind of like the concept.
Squirrel hair.
Yeah, let's start legalizing weed, but from the
old school weed.
The old school weed.
We could smoke a whole joint, actually just be the right amount of high. If you tried to smoke a joint of this shit today, I'm with you. You're just paralyzed.
Instead of one hit and then you think two little dogs or raccoons is chasing you. Theo.
Thinking about nursing an armadillo. Exactly. Your grandmother's booger
I
picking.
should put on your wood shirt to go play kickball with the pedophiles.
That kid needed a wood shirt, man. That was a blessing for him because he used to get beat up on the school bus.
Look at that. That's something right there behind you. There's the Blue Dream, whatever.
Yeah, what is that? Blue Dream? I remember the stuff you got a little high, the brown stuff. Yeah. Maybe the highest thing you do is like feel up your friend a little bit, even if he was a dude, you know, like just something kind of.
I remember touch dickheads or something.
Dude, I remember laying in a truck and just feeling my own breast for like an hour one time with some weed. But you know, natural activities, not stuff.
Sure.
It's not gay because you're on Blue Dream.
Exactly.
You're on the Blue Dream, so no one's going to question that you're filling up your friend.
Dude. Now people are getting so high, they're doing crap. I mean, they're starting families, and I mean, you don't know who knows what you'll do on this stuff.
Right,
that's true.
That is very true.
It's too intense.
What was I going to say? Oh, we're all over the news right now.
I saw that this morning in the paper.
We're all over the fucking news right now.
Host 1 or Host 2, Donald Trump Jr. They found a story where Donald Trump Jr. was on him and Anthony show back in the day.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
From 2013.
This is about what women should and shouldn't do.
But this thing is on BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, the Daily Mail, NBC. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I saw it on the Daily Mail.
It's literally everywhere, and it's the headline is here at Donald Trump Jr. echoes father's locker room talk defense in 2013 interview. So this is 3 years ago with me and Anthony, saying women who can't take harassment don't belong in workforce. Do we have the clip?
Here you go. Maybe.
Who's got the clip, Paul?
You
got it right here, ready to go? All right, instead of reading the story, here's the clip. Maybe not.
And that was it. He was very quiet about it. He was very
man. Start their own stuff.
We'll eventually win because that's the way. That's where we're going.
Yeah, let's. Oh my God, let's get back to the beginning. Come on.
You're not going to.
Come on. All right, hold on. We're having a slate.
You smoking pot these days, Vic?
Oh, sure, all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
And you smoke a little bit. You said you the edible.
Pete Davidson.
They start their own stuff.
Pete Davidson blew up my spot because I was starting to dip into edibles, and he's like, I wouldn't fucking touch that shit. And when Pete Davidson comes in here, all you smell is pot. So I'm thinking, if he's not touching edibles, he knows what he's talking about. He's like, there's some heroin and shit in that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't know. He said something like that. He doesn't trust what's in the edibles.
But he gets the good stuff too. And we were on SNL. You're getting good edibles.
I've never had any bad edibles. The people I've had homemade everything from way back in the day. People making the old school brownies to gingerbread or spice cake or all kinds of stuff.
Homemade DNA too. Vic's probably had.
But
probably what's wrong with me.
Some chocolate edibles. That was all right, and it had almonds in it. No, it was perfect.
I got somebody gave me one that was the size of the old school chunky bar.
It was amazing.
Remember the chunky candy bar? The thing that somebody gave me one of those. That was my introduction to the first.
But that's evil though, because I mean I love chocolate, especially almonds and sea salt and all that shit. And they're basically telling you take this tiny little
quarter
square
of it, right?
And then you got this candy bar, this chocolate bar still left. It's so hard not to just keep going.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I was on a cruise, and I just went, you know what, I'm just going to eat the whole thing and see what happens.
Dang, what happened?
Nothing. I had a nice, mellow, super relaxing day. Sat by the pool, read a book for 5 hours, had the headphones on, listened to music, and nothing. Just a very mellow. No raccoon chasing me, no old people, nothing weird.
Little as you know, the book was a menu that you just kept reading
I actually thought it was like War and Peace, and it was just the brunch menu.
You didn't see a lady like breastfeeding an armadillo?
I didn't see any, nothing.
None of that stuff
happened at all.
That was alleged.
You know, I remember I thought we were outside of Puerto Rico, and there's a fort in Puerto Rico when you pull up on a cruise ship, and I just remember like sitting out there staring at the fort for hours, just going, "Wow, this thing's old." That was the extent of it. It was like, look at that cannon, man! That fucking cannon's like 500 years old. I can't believe how old that was. But that was the extent of it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Paul, you had a bad experience on edibles?
Yeah, my friend said take a little piece of it, so I took the little corner of it. And I was laying at home on my bed, and every time I rolled around, it was like the walls were shaking, like there was a magnitude earthquake happening. Ooh. So I said, you gotta come pick me up. He goes, well, go downstairs, grab a water. I was afraid to open the refrigerator because I thought it would turn it to bright sunlight out, so I ended up licking snow off the ground outside.
You got pretty bent out, huh?
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So you really thought like a Ghostbusters, you were going to open the refrigerator
No, I felt like if I opened the fridge, it would turn to broad daylight. Everybody would know that I was up.
That's
awesome. That's kind of good.
I kind of respect that. That sounds awesome.
So then he picked me up, and it was during the winter, so his windows were steaming up. I said, turn on your defrosters. The cops are going to know that we're smoking in here. So he drove me back to his house, and I puked all over his car.
Oh, God. I've heard people throwing up. I have heard of people throwing up.
Somebody else was saying that. Maybe, I'm trying to remember, but they said on edibles, you certainly throw up.
Oh, they're alarming, dude. I met this lady, I invited her to a comedy show. She was a casting director. I invited her to a comedy show. She comes out, and the show was, I had invited her for the wrong night. So it was above this restaurant in Los Angeles. So I was just like, well, let's just have some dinner, you know, at least I can spend some time with her. And she was an attractive lady. So we sit and had dinner, and then about halfway through, the next day was my birthday, and I told her, and she's like, oh, well, you want half of this pot cookie? And I never had one. Took half, dude. About 40 minutes later, I couldn't remember how I knew her. I couldn't remember if we were like husband and wife.
Oh my God.
You knew her, but not how.
Well, yeah, and it was just bizarre that we're sitting here having this like nice dinner in this romantic restaurant. I was like, I have no idea how I know this lady.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So I finished dinner, and then I tried making out with her by the cab stand. And she's like, what are you doing? And she shut me down, man. Then I went home, bro.
Did you have any intent before of making out or doing anything? You just
had intent. I wanted to, you know.
Thank God you're not going for the presidency, because that story would come out now.
That's true. He pushes her up against the valet.
And then you got to explain, no, man, it was a bad trip on the what was it? A pot cookie.
Yeah, pot cookie. A snickerdoodle, I think.
All right, so.
Good cookies, usually.
We might have the audio here. So we're making news from the old show, the Opie and Anthony Show from 2013. Donald Trump Jr. used to come on a lot. From time to time, I should say, a couple times a year, probably 2 or 3 times a year, and his old man certainly came on here a bunch, and they dug this shit up out of nowhere, man.
You didn't see this coming?
No, we didn't try to look for any crazy audio. everyone's looking for the crazy audio.
So somebody found it,
because everybody has interviewed Donald Trump, so they're all like, "Holy shit, maybe I got the next nugget that'll go everywhere." I don't know how they got this one, to be completely honest with you. But here we go. Donald Trump Jr. on our show. This is making headlines today.
Stuff. And say fuck them. We don't give a fuck about them. We're gonna start our own traditions and our own clubs just for women.
Yeah, because it's
Can you pause on this?
It's a lot easier to do it the other way, and
I got to explain myself here, because
Right.
the whole time, just like you don't remember your relationship with the girl, the woman. When I saw this was, breaking and it was all over the place, I'm like, oh my God, what did I say? Because I don't remember this shit.
So you're afraid to press the button?
Yeah, I was.
Hilarious.
There are fans that know way more about this radio show than I do. I mean, way more. I would lose in Opie and Anthony trivia. And
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
No, that's the God's honest truth. So when this hit, I'm like, oh God, please don't say anything too stupid. I know you're going to be saying stupid stuff, but not too stupid.
Okay.
So you're not the story on this, because I want to be out as far as Trump groping women go.
Yeah.
But the clip starts because I got frustrated. I was a caddy most of my life growing up and stuff. And
Golf caddy, right?
Yeah, and you saw the females would come around, and everyone would have to change their tune and just behave differently. And men in general didn't feel like they could relax. Whether that's right or wrong, that is what happened. And like a golf course, guys felt like they could go there and just be themselves. Simple as that. And then there was a story where the women are trying to push into the golf, the country clubs, and be part of that whole thing. So my whole argument is, I believe, of course, that men and women should be equal, but I also think that women should start their own stuff, and instead of being pushed into
100%.
some of the male traditions out there.
100%.
That's what we were discussing as this clip starts. I don't know even if that's right. Probably people are screaming at the radio like, "Wow, how dare you!" But I think if you get complete equality, that's how you got to do it. You got to get a whole bunch of powerful women out there, and then you guys go and do your own thing. Is that bad to say?
I don't think so. I mean, it seems
that bad to say, Vic?
I can't tell. It seems, I don't know. Yes and no. I have no idea.
It's not like women aren't allowed. It's just that this is where men are allowed. This is a men's club.
Well, there's still that. It exists. Well, you can have women's club only too, and nobody gets mad at them. I don't think. Do they? Do people get mad? But men don't want to crash the women's stuff.
I don't see men like wanting to crash the women's stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But it seems like it's really one way on this, where women from time to time want to crash the male.
Some of them are wildcats, man. Some of them want to be out there. They had this girl that used to blow a lot of people I knew, and she always wanted to be at all the dude things, dude.
That's why.
Well, if you're blowing everyone around you, I guess you certainly want to be where the guys are hanging out.
She was just trying to catch a hot jaw every now and then, But we all fell victim to it. I mean, and that wasn't as bad because it was, there was kind of a reward at the end if you were there. But sometimes I think men should just be able to do certain things, And I think even races and ethnicities, it's like, if there's like a black power meeting or a black like church or some type of black meeting, that's fine. If there's a white meeting, that's totally illegal.
Right.
Right.
You're like a racist or a Klan member.
I'm probably too much of a mama's boy, I think, because I was raised by a single mom, and so I'm always kind of trying to lean towards the ladies, probably, for that reason.
Might be trying to catch a little skirt too.
But that's how this clip starts. I don't even know if that's right what I said, but I just feel like there are times men want to go and just fucking feel like they could just chill out and not worry about what they're saying and whatnot.
Yeah, dude, I was in this club. I mean, it wasn't really a club when I was growing up. This kid told me it was a club, but
oh my God.
This kid Mario, dude, used to defecate in his yard.
Okay.
And then made me bury it, right? And he told me we're in this special club.
And that was part of the club.
And that was the only part of the club, dude.
What was the club called? Don't Tell Daddy?
What, did you shovel? You were supposed to come in with bare hands?
Well, his yard was kind of that silty sort of sand dirt, you'll get in some delta areas kind of. So, and I would bury it, and that was kind of my role in the club, I guess. But
you're like a cat. You would just go over and scoop that stuff over. Really? So did you watch him shit?
Sometimes they had a shovel. I don't remember if I watched him or not. I just
But
knew
he would just come get you and go, here's time.
bury his shit.
It's time for the club.
What else did you do in this club that you wanted to be part of it?
He said that was
I think just be over there and hang out. Like just be, they had a slide, I remember. And
all right. So for you to hang out, they decide they're going to fuck with you a little bit.
Yeah, and they had free pecans. But it was just me and him in this club, right? But what I'm thinking is, if a girl had been in that club, like, yeah, they were welcome, probably, but some clubs you don't want to be in.
Yeah, I don't think a girl would want to be part of that club watching you bury your friend's shit.
Yeah, I don't either. But that's what I'm saying.
And I also think to be a club, you got to have more than 2 people.
Well, now we're deciding what a club is and what a club isn't.
I like how they had free pecans.
They did have free pecans over there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's big in the South.
They're good. They're hard to get into.
I know.
All right, let's go back to the club.
Yeah, play the clip.
Donald Trump Jr. is in a bit of trouble.
Talking about the male-only golf club.
From 2013. That's how it started. Then, all right, go.
Break balls and they'll eventually win because that's the way. That's where we're going. We're just becoming a different society, and for better or worse.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't bother me if I see a woman on the course. It's just weird though that they desperately want to be.
Yeah, but there's something still cool. I mean, for me, the old school, like if you have a guy's place, you have a guy's place.
Right.
I don't know. I have a hard time letting go of that. Maybe I'm not going to have a choice, but like,
the problem with
I'm kind of a guy's guy, so it's
they complain and they fuck it up. Like I don't like being around just men. I love when women are around, but they complain. Yeah, these harassment, and that's why we hate them around because they stop us from doing what we want to do, and they complain.
Yeah, and in the clubhouse, guys just want to be guys, and they want to talk about stuff, and they don't want to have to. And you start. Including too many other things, and all of a sudden you're basically having a boring freaking conversation.
Right.
And by the way, even if you're just talking shit, and it's not really true,
what
but
it mostly is.
There's nothing worse than like starting to tell a joke, and then someone, and you're like, okay, it just kind of screws up that punchline.
Right, yeah. Because it mostly is just bullshitting around. It's not like I demand to be able to hang up, nude women pictures. It's just usually just bullshit,
joking, and
that you're talking, making jokes that people. It's the things you never expect, and then HR or someone will come up. And
don't even start because I'm of that mindset, and I'll get in trouble, and I'm sure I've been on the show enough. I'm sure I'll get myself in trouble 1 year later. But if you can't handle some of the basic stuff that's become a problem in the workforce today, like you don't belong in the workforce.
Yeah,
like you should go, maybe teach kindergarten. I think it's a respectable, position. But like,
and those little kids
you can't be negotiating billion-dollar deals if you can't handle well, listen, there's a place where you have to draw the line. But like today, this stuff that you get in trouble for, it's like I wouldn't even think about
Donald, our stupid world. It's radio, right?
Yeah.
If we want to just look at a naked girl on this computer. Watch, we can even do it to just show you what happens. Everything gets shut down. If we go, hey, what do we want to see real fast?
Well, you have to, then the curtains have to be shut.
Bunch of naked men in the shower. Let's
That's okay, then. That's okay.
Look, because they heard already. Look, turn around.
You got to close the curtain.
Close the curtain.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Look.
I'm watching people just for the people. They're actually closing the curtains.
They're on high alert. They're not doing it to show the bid off. They're doing it because they really believe we are actually now. Well, we are doing it officially.
Listen, that's not bad. I mean, I see some. Yeah.
But
wouldn't it be funny if he showed tits and then Donald sued?
I feel harassed.
But Donald,
this is my get-rich-quick scheme. I'm now suing you guys because I feel uncomfortable. And by the way, that's what happens in the world. Like, I can play along, I can be fine, and then I can decide randomly, you now have crossed the line. Even though I've been going with
this is not a stuffy workplace. We're in radio where it's, it's known to be a little more edgy and this and that, right? And,
by the way,
and there it is. I mean, I don't know why that's like all over the place. I think they're reaching a little bit.
They're looking for anything. I mean, the media obviously doesn't like Trump, and they're looking for anything, but. Yeah, I mean that feels like they're reaching. Does that feel like they're reaching?
I don't know.
If Roland's still down the hall, let's reach out to Donald Trump Jr. see if he wants to talk about this a little bit.
Try to find him.
Yeah. Oh no, we got his number.
I knew that. That's what I meant. Try to find him if he's not out.
Probably combing his hair somewhere.
He's got great hair.
Is it just me?
Which is strange because his dad has such shitty hair, and his son has amazing hair.
Really do you think he combs it, or do you think honestly 2 Latino dudes rake his hair in the morning? That's what I feel like.
I think so. With that big stiff wide rake. The spiky one. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it looks like.
I think it's because of his dad. The paranoia set in early, and that guy has a brush in his hair every night.
Yeah, all
100 strokes.
It looks like all of them.
Yeah,
probably 100 strokes
for every hair product imaginable, just to keep making sure it's all right, and it's not going to go the way of pops. So this is how they reported it. Women don't belong in the locker room, the boardroom, or the golf course, because they can't handle basic stuff like sexual harassment, Donald Trump Jr. once suggested.
But do you think people are still believing this that read this? Because obviously they adjusted what was said. I mean, they summed it up to make it sound way more negative than what he's talking about, and he's talking shop in a radio station.
Right. In a March 2013 radio interview, a host interviewing Trump on the Opie and Anthony Show rails against allowing women in the men's club because they complain and fuck it up. That's why we hate having them around, because they stop us from doing what we want to do, and then they complain. Trump agrees with the host, saying men need a guy's place where guys can be guys because women ruin the punchline to jokes, he says. I don't think that's a really bad thing to say.
I don't know if I've ever had to. I've never thought about editing a joke when we're around. You know, there's jokes I wouldn't tell in front of my mom or grandmother, but I'll say anything on stage in front of any. You know, there's no kids in the audience or anything like that. I've never had to, and I've been in locker rooms. I've never had to worry about. I'll say anything, and if they don't like it, tough shit. That's just how I go.
Yeah,
you know, but I don't think I'm being demeaning or weird or anything like that.
I think you come from a slightly different place because, like, you don't work in a work environment like this with human resources and stuff, because so many people probably went, wow, Vic, I wish I could have, be like you. But they always have to watch their back at work. People get in trouble for having a dumb calendar up. Sometimes they get in trouble for having family pictures up because there's someone in the office that doesn't have a family, or maybe, something horrible happened to their family, so then no one could have family pictures.
Like Janet's family died. Janet's family fell in a sinkhole.
I understand.
Right, so take that picture of the sinkhole down off your bulletin board. It's bringing back PTSD.
But how even do we have to get?
It's just getting ridiculously crazy and out of control. I mean, maybe a centerfold. Okay, yeah, all right, sure. But then, down to you can't display family pictures because someone in the office is going to be upset by that. It's exhausting to follow.
30 years ago, one of the first times I got hired to do some corporate gig. Now I do tons of them, oddly enough. And but I was 23 or 22 or whatever. I just did one. I did one in. It was Feed and Seed. I did one in Phoenix, Arizona. Pinnacle Corporation. Man. They sell fertilizer and seed to farmers all over America. They're in like 29 states.
I love Feed and Seed stores.
That's my wheelhouse crowd. It was great.
I love supply warehouses.
Don't mess with the Feed and Seed crowd.
No.
I love supply warehouses, dude.
That's perfect, But I was getting to do one of those for the first time as a young comic, and probably had no business doing it because I was in my 20s. There's not a person in the room in their 20s. They're 40 and up, and I didn't know what to do. And I was asking, and I forgot what older comic told me. He goes, "Well, you're going to bomb because you're going to be talking about 23-year-old Alabama shit that they're not going to know." Mm-hmm. And I'm just telling you, when in doubt, and you start eating it, if you need an out, just say, "Don't you hate those fuckers in HR?" And I guarantee you, everybody will die laughing, and you'll at least get one laugh. And every time I floundered, I brought it up like 3 or 4 times. I was like, "Back to those fuckers in HR!" And every time, everybody would clap and cheer.
Yeah, because you're untouchable in that situation.
That was my first intro into how hard it was in the workplace, like you were saying. I had no idea the shit was going down until that joke actually started working.
All right, so this continues. Trump agrees with the host, saying men need a guy's place where guys can be guys because women ruin the punchline to jokes, he says. Okay, you start including too many other things, women, and you start having a boring freaking conversation, Trump says. There's plenty of women out there that could keep a conversation going and it could be funny and all that. So Trump says there's nothing worse than starting to tell a joke and then you're like, oh, it kind of screws up that punchline, he says. All right. In the 2013 radio interview, the host then joked about pulling up naked pictures of women inside the radio studio and teased that Trump might sue them for harassment if they show him the X-rated photos. "This is my get-rich scheme. I'm suing you guys because I feel uncomfortable," Trump said, seeming to mock women who bring suits about harassment. By the way, that's what happens in the world. I could play along, I could be fine, and then I could decide randomly that you now have crossed the line, even though I have been going along with it.
Yeah.
Well,
women bring a different avenue. Like when if men are doing something, a woman shows up. I mean, immediately there's a different vibe because there could be sexual attraction.
Yep.
That's going to change the element. You're going to be careful what you say because you don't want to offend a woman.
And you consider yourself a gentleman. As well.
If you consider yourself a decent fella.
So sometimes maybe right there you're going to hold back a little bit.
Don't want to be crass.
So it sounds like in some ways that we just took a lot of fun out of the environment immediately with some of our description. But that's just some environments.
Exactly. It's totally situational, I think.
Yeah. It's not everything. It's not life.
Right. Let's say hi to Connor. Connor, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, how you doing?
All right, buddy.
I grew up in Virginia, and I bartended throughout college in the summertime at a pretty exclusive country club, and we had a men's only bar next to the locker room. Men were allowed in there Monday to Thursday, but women were allowed in with their husbands on Friday and Saturday night. There was a nice system going on. Everybody was happy. But towards the last several years I worked there, every goddamn year, a young woman, a couple was in there, would simply get drunk and pissed off that her husband was having fun without them, or there was something that was, even though they had their own golf groups, they had their own lounge, they had their own everything, there was something that was intangible to them. And by that, just their husband having fun without them would piss them off, and they would stage a little protest and come sit down during lunchtime on a Tuesday, knowing there was nothing we could do about it legally. And all it was just a little hissy-pissy fit just because there was something that they didn't have access to. And it had nothing to do with equal rights. It was just petty crap all the time.
Right. That sounds
I dealt with it every year.
Yeah, I guess that's what it sounds like.
Sounds like someone just wanted to, turn the screws a little bit.
Find some charity work.
Yeah.
Focus elsewhere.
Yeah, but I think that's a good overall idea. It sounds like, or summation of sometimes what occurs. That sometimes, do women feel this like this untangible thing that's never going to be.
Well, that's what he was saying. Go teach kindergarten. I said find some charity work.
Well, what was he? That's the line that really focuses on. Go teach kindergarten.
Which is harder than shit, first of all.
I mean, I think he was saying if you can't deal with, like, stuff going on in the workplace, I mean, was he talking about being felt up and
I don't know.
Your fucking ass pinched or what?
Toughen up. Children are harder than adults.
Yeah,
I would think sometimes. Although the adults can go the other way too. But I don't know. It's like the guy on the phone. It's all situational to me. I don't know.
I wouldn't get a job in like a place where you couldn't. Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd be safe in some environments. Probably maybe.
What do you mean?
Just because if you like to talk and say what you like to say, like what if you say something to offend someone, but you don't? It's not even like you're just talking,
right?
Like not everything you say is like your 100% beliefs.
Yeah, sure, right. That's what I'm saying. Especially as comics.
I always say it this way: if you say something stupid or crass or whatever, it doesn't mean you have the hate in your heart. You just said something stupid,
right? Lots of attempts at bad jokes, and when one falls flat and horrible,
right?
Sometimes you sound extremely racist or misogynistic or chauvinistic or whatever. But I've seen when that joke plays right, everybody goddamn laughs. Nobody thinks of calling HR. Everything's fine. That was a perfectly well told blah blah.
You just know when someone has the hate in their heart. But unfortunately, in this day and age now, it's like if you say something stupid or over the top,
I got you.
Then oh my God, you're just a terrible person for saying that.
Right.
And we're all just lying to each other. Because as they report that, those people are like, oh, geez, I've said worse. Fuck. I'm not on the news, reading this shit.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Drew was on our podcast, a little allegedly podcast that I have with my buddy, and he said that men in their like late 30s, early 40s are committing suicide at like an unprecedented rate. He said it's bizarre, and I asked him, what's one of the one medical things that you guys can't really get your hands around right now, or your heads around? And he said, I've been to a lot of conferences recently where people are bringing this up, that men are committing suicide. And part of it made me think, because do you feel like men are just being beaten down where you can't even be a man anymore?
It might be. That might be part of it.
Really?
Well, what else could it be?
I don't know.
I said part of it. I don't think it's like the number one, but what could it actually be? What would the answer to that be?
I don't know.
He never told you the answer?
He didn't tell me. He didn't know.
That was the point of your question. That was tell you something that nobody's really understanding or what's going on. Yeah, that's a great one.
But I just times just are changing so fast. It's like it's tough to figure out what you can do and not do anymore. Sometimes there's a lot of men I think who they're just masturbating at the house, and that's as far as they're going to get when it comes to a relationship.
How about this?
I believe that, though.
I do, too. There's
a lot of men right now who want to text a woman, and they're like, what? I'm going to shut the phone down.
Yep.
Yeah. But Theo, how about it's tough to figure out what to do today, what's right and what's wrong, but now it's completely acceptable to go find shit you said 10, 11 years ago and use it against you, even though you could have easily changed your whole outlook on things and changed how you think of these things.
Yeah.
But they could still go back, get that tape, and fuck you over.
Well, it's not fair, too, if someone says that they're liberal and that they're open-minded, right? And any of us, like, you have to be willing to accept that people may change or that people can change. You know, and I'm not saying it specifically for this Donald Trump incident with the locker room talk or whatever, but, I mean, are we going to accept that people change or are we not going to accept that people change?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
We can't pick and choose when, I don't think.
We do not accept that people
should
actually change.
We should.
We don't.
You know,
we don't accept that. That is the truth.
I've mentioned this before on here. George Wallace, the racist governor of Alabama, won again in the 80s, and they had the footage, they had the tapes, they had Segregation Now, they had him blocking the door at the University of Alabama, and every horrible racist thing they'd ever said, and he won in the 80s on the strength of the black vote because he convinced everybody that he had changed, and grew.
That's pretty amazing.
And he won. He won. Yeah. Part of the reasons he won was the strength of the black vote.
Pretty amazing.
You know, I know. I couldn't
turn that around.
I know. I was starting comedy around then, and I would always bring it up on stage, and every now and then black people would come up to me between shows and go, because I would be like teasing them, going, "You really believe, really?
Right?
You haven't seen the tape?"
Right?
And then they're like, "No, if you listen to what he says, we really, really believe that he's going to do some good." And he was, he only went hardcore racist when he lost the first time back in the late 50s. He lost. He was very progressive and didn't win, and then decided to win Alabama at that point in time to go full on Klan, and that's what won and turned him into George Wallace that we all knew, the racist guy. But he actually started sort of
middle
progressive.
ground.
Yeah, sort of middle ground.
That sheet beat. He hit that sheet beat by the end. I used to lift weights with David Duke. I told you guys that, right?
No.
Yeah, David Duke and I.
Was he a nice guy when he wasn't doing his thing? I'll say this. That's interesting.
We shared a back fence, and I used to work at this little seafood shop in our neighborhood where they were selling, seafood, grilled trout and everything. But and David Duke, I met him at the gymnasium, and he would help me lift weights sometimes. And then sometimes I'd buzz over there to the gym with him, dude, right over to the gym with him.
He's spotting you. David Dukes is spotting you on the bench press.
Was he already David Duke at this point?
Yeah, this is probably 20 years ago.
How would you know him?
Oh, yeah, he was straight up DD, man.
He was already DD.
They called him Double D, man.
Double
really?
D.
And he made love, dude. He used to make love to the hottest girl at this seafood shack, man. This little girl, I think her name was, I want to say Stephanie. I don't remember, but she was beautiful.
Was he married?
I don't know if he was married or not, man.
But he was hooking up with the girl.
He never tried anything on me.
No, but you knew he was hooking up with the girl from the seafood shack.
Yeah, they were dating. It was known, but he was
what nationality was she?
She was white.
She's white as this piece of paper, probably.
She was very white.
She was very white. There's no doubt.
She was like one of the top,
not even anything.
You can see the blood flowing underneath the skin. She was so white.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But he was he was very friendly. I could see how people could give into it, or
he was charismatic.
Well, he had the charisma.
He was charismatic, and he was tall. And he was a handsome guy, man. He's a pretty beautiful man.
In person,
yeah.
Was he spewing any of that stuff when
he was chilling,
weights?
dude? He was talking chest and tries, baby. That was
chest and tries.
Keeping it real.
Yeah,
lats.
Yeah, lat pull downs.
He was such a surreal thing.
Yeah, and
the comedians have the best Forrest Gump moment stories ever.
He didn't try to squeeze out one more rep by saying "fuck the."
No, he didn't throw one more time for the Hitler. Right. Nothing.
Just to get a little adrenaline flowing.
Yeah, I don't think he did. He's like, he's like, just yell the N word in my ear while I'm straining.
Push me up to a new top weight. I'm going to get a new personal high today.
Let's go to Chuck in Boston. Chuck, go ahead, buddy. We got Theo Vaughn and Vic Henley, and we got Mike Bichetti coming around in a few minutes. What do you got?
Yeah, Wikipedia, one of my favorite comedians. All right, I got 2 points to make. First one, real quick. Michelle Obama said in a speech the other day, that's not locker room talk. Who the fuck is she? You ever been in a locker room, Michelle? No, I don't think so. Show her the fucking scene from Porky. See how men really act in lockers. Now, this came out where Donald Trump says this and that. And I'm sure, grab a woman's pussy. I'm sure everybody that's hearing my voice right now has heard somebody over the last 16 months that say if Donald Trump becomes president, it's going to be the end of the world. They hate Donald Trump, and they are desperate to get rid of him. So I'm sure there's a few women that come out of the woodwork and say, wow, he said it. People are going to believe me. He fucking kissed me. He forced himself on me. Even admitted. Who's going to doubt me? I doubt that he groped any women ever. It's all fucking talk. and it's fucking dirty political games right here.
Wow. All right. I heard some of it through the bad phone.
Yeah, it was weird phone.
The phone's a little rough there, Chuck. Not gonna lie to you.
Let me go ahead and re-say one or two things. Now, if he touched anybody, all of a sudden it comes out after this audio tape comes out where women that hate his guts and think Donald Trump needs to not be president, and they're desperate, and now they might just say, wow, if I say something, he touched me, that they're going to believe me because he admitted to it already. It's dirty politics.
Well, yeah, that makes it a bit tougher for the Trump camp, that's for sure. But, I mean, everyone knows he was a womanizer all these years, too, so I'm sure I'm sure he did his share of aggressive behavior.
He said, she said, you can't deny that they're telling lies, telling the truth, all lies, and you can't deny that he did or didn't do it. There's no evidence.
Yeah.
Until evidence comes out, actual evidence comes out, I'm going to say that he's still going to win the presidency.
Not a chance. Not a chance. But but he does not go away after the election is decided. They were saying today that anyone else running against Hillary would have destroyed her.
Yeah.
A little late for that.
No kidding. Any other person on that stage,
anybody,
it wouldn't have been close. And then, the GOP, they're the ones in the end that fucked this up. They should have kind of saw some of this shit coming. And they're basically handing Hillary a victory.
Yeah.
Well, the toughest part is seeing how much, how angry Hillary supporters and Trump supporters are at each other.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's so divisive.
It's God.
I have to say this before the break, though. I mean, there's enough women coming forward. I always lean on the side that I believe the women.
Sure. Why would you make this up? Why would you make this up?
But when the Cosby thing happened, and there was 50 or 60 of them,
right?
I was honest enough to say, out of, let's say it's how many Cosby accusers?
Let's say 62. I think it's up to 62.
Was it 62?
I don't know. It's a big number. Yeah.
To be honest, I'm like, out of the 62, you might have to squeeze a few of them out because they were just seeing an opportunity or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I do have an open mind as far as that type of thing goes. But when there's a whole bunch coming forward, man, there's got to be something. There's something to it.
The Duke lacrosse boys, they'll sit there and tell you that a woman making shit up will get you in trouble all day long. And
right.
They didn't. They'll tell you that was the epitome of frat boy bad behavior.
Right.
Oh, frat going crazy, men's club only, la 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 la. And that was just a pile of shit that ruined their lives for a few years.
But I really lean toward believing the.
In the majority of the time.
Yeah, I lean toward believing the woman.
I've seen too many cop shows.
But then every once in a while you get spanked because then there is something like the
it seems like it's only been in our generation. I'm sure it happened before. Maybe you'd have to look up, just back when it was just newspapers and radio or something. But it seems in the past 20 or 30 years that it's been the idea that a woman could be making some shit up to get somebody that's popped out a little more often.
Oh yeah.
That seems to be more prevalent than it used to be.
And I believe that's in this, of course.
Yeah,
but not. I don't think to the extent that some people would like to believe. Like it's hard to think that all these women coming out or what they're all part of the conspiracy now.
Exactly.
There's one that hit 2 hours ago. Some woman was in a club and she was turned like this, talking to her friend, and next thing you know, she feels a hand up, a
small hand
on her leg going up her skirt.
She thought it was a raccoon.
And then they interview her, and she's saying Donald Trump, touched her pussy through her panties in that club that night.
Wow.
So,
I don't know.
Do they have it on tape or anything, or is that
some of them have been talking about this stuff for a while. They have witnesses as far as them telling people over the years. So
seems like you could get one former disgruntled employee that he had to go, that was his move. He was a pussy grabber.
Well, yeah.
See, one.
I believe
there's somebody got to be out there that didn't sign the
I believe
tell.
that. Fuck him. I'm going to come up with a story.
You would think.
I think that could certainly be part of it as well.
If we had the Secret Service guy that came in here and broke all those guy. Yeah, well then two or three of those guys started doing that. So if someone is finally going to break ranks with them, you think you could find one disgruntled Trump employee that said, I had the pussy pussy grab was totally his move. That was his.
Looks like he practices it on his hair too. What is he?
He's doing it too much.
Looks like he pussy grabbed a lot of his hair out of his head. I just hate, I think a lot of people that it's like. Some people just don't want to vote for they just don't want to. They're tired of politics. That's what a lot of people I feel like are starting to be tired of. And that's how do you get past that? Like, if you're tired of our system, what do we do?
I don't know, but I'm loving this one.
Yeah,
this election's amazing.
It's exciting.
I think I'm going to be a bit depressed when it's. It's decided.
Yeah,
but I don't even want to say thank you. Trump is not going to go away.
Well,
he does not take losing lightly. No fucking way.
But what's he going to do?
I'm telling you, he's going back to the Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah.
They're saying that he might start up a network or something and keep pushing
Trump
this agenda
TV.
forward.
It'll be like all the other
not
successful
going away.
Trump ideas. Trump TV.
He just loves.
I don't even know what his agenda is.
He should
be heard.
He just loves being in front of his base. And just saying whatever he wants and just that reaction. He's addicted to that reaction he's getting from all that.
Yeah.
Someone told me that Dana Gould, very funny comedian,
sure.
Dana Gould had compared this to the Elia Kazan movie, A Face in the Crowd, with Andy Griffith. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's from the late 50s. It's in black and white. It's the greatest thing Andy Griffith has ever done.
Really?
It's mean, hateful Andy Griffith.
Really?
And the whole movie is about how power corrupts. And Andy Griffith starts off as an almost folksy, good old country. His name's Lonesome Rhodes. And he gets on the radio, and his little folksy, homespun witticisms. Then he gets becoming more and more popular, and he turns into almost like a Will Rogers guy, where the politicians want him coming on and talking about politics. And the next thing you know, he gets into politics. But it's all about how power corrupts. It's an unbelievably fucking great movie. It's called A Face in the Crowd.
A Face in the Crowd.
And Dana Gould was talking about how he thought this is basically
the Trump story.
The Trump story.
I got to go check that out.
It's one of the best movies ever. It's an
really?
I'm telling you, Andy, because you think of All Shucks, the Andy Griffith show.
Sure.
Sheriff Andy Taylor. That's who you know. This is before that.
Matlock.
And he starts out a little sweet, and by the end of this, he is a twisted, evil motherfucker, and it is wonderfully played. I mean, it's that damn good.
Face in the Crowd. I'll watch it. So the next time you're in, Vic, we'll talk about
tell
it.
me.
Definitely.
No one's ever.
Where do you find it though?
No one's ever not liked
it's in a diorama near you.
Exactly.
Probably. It's on a cave wall.
Do they have a copy on YouTube?
Coming to a rumor mill near you.
You know, Netflix.
Someone just describes it to you in an alley.
That's how old it is.
This is what happens. See. Okay. Yeah. All right. We should take a break. We got Mike Bichetti. We got Stunt Brain. We got to talk about good old Kenneth Bone.
Kenny Bone, huh?
Oh boy,
he looks like the kind of guy that gets honestly
leaning towards the porn or leaning not towards the porn, as he said.
Do you know the latest on Kenneth Bone?
No, I thought that you told me yesterday they were trying to get him to do porn,
and then everyone's begging, "Don't do it, Kenneth Bone, because you got a lot of fans out here. We don't want to see you doing the porn."
These fans will be gone in a year. Kenny, I say you get in there. You do the porn, Kenny Bone.
You don't know the update either.
Well,
his fans might be gone by Sunday.
He's not getting laid if he doesn't do the porn. This is his one chance.
We have to ruin everything in this society. They couldn't leave Kenneth Bone alone because everyone's like, "Oh, this guy with his stupid mustache and his red sweater, we love him." And then there's those assholes out there. Fuck Kenneth Bone. I'll find some shit on this guy.
God. They found something on him.
Oh, they found some shit.
Did they really?
He looks like the kind of guy that gets fucked in prison around the holidays. Only holidays. Like, oh, we're saving Kenny. Saving Kenny for fucking New Year's.
To get to the real Yule log.
Let's put it this way. He's supposed to be on Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel is not returning the media's phone calls, wondering if he's going to continue, if he's going to still have Kenneth Bone on his show.
Wow. See, that's wrong.
They found Reddit posts and all sorts of stuff. We'll get into it a little bit after the break.
Opie Radio.